Hi there, my name is Dillon, and this is my documentary for my Humanities 150B1 class, Mind-Altering Substances in the Ancient World. So, this is it right here, and we're going to be going over drug use in the Greco-Roman era. So, it's safe to say that we've gotten over the extensive history of psychedelics and the cultures that have used them, but I think it'd be best to look over how psychedelics were used in the Greco-Roman era. Now, I know what you're thinking. How in the world could history be how the heck could psychedelics be involved with cultures that are so rich in history? Well, that's the thing. We often associate Greece with the ancient Greek gods, such as Athena, Poseidon, and Dionysus. But that's also part of it. Not everything is what it seems. I know, that sounds kind of cliche, but there's actually extensive history and records of psychedelics being used in the Greco-Roman era and ancient Greece. I'm going to be going over those records and how they contributed to the ancient culture of Greece and the overall people of the Greco-Roman era. First things first. With records going as far back as 1600 BC, archaeologists have discovered that little flasks were being made into the shape of poppy capsules, such as the one you can see right here. Believe it or not, the little bulging ball, I think that's part of it right there, these little bulging balls actually held opiums inside of them. The shapes from these capsules allowed for a reasonable guess as to what the contents of these capsules held inside of them. But until then, it was nigh impossible to be 100% certain. Now, let's take a look into ancient Greece. Believe it or not, when it came to psychedelic drug use in ancient Greece, it's not just the typical sense that you might think they used it in. You see, like most cultures, sorry, voice crack. Like most cultures this class has gone over, the ancient Greeks also used psychedelics and drugs for ritualistic purposes. They also actually used the opiums that were extracted from poppy capsules. But that's not the only substance they used in these practices. One you might not expect. That's right, cannabis was used in ritualistic practices, along with other psychedelics and stuff. But it wasn't just for ritualistic purposes. Keep that in mind. It was also for medicinal uses. So they weren't trying to get high off cannabis. They found other ways to use them, and clearly these ritualistic and medicinal purposes show. And believe it or not, these are records showing that they used cannabis in medicinal and ritualistic purposes go as far back as 3500 BCE. However, you should know that explicit usage records weren't officially found in ancient records, but sufficient evidence was pieced together to pretty much show that. Now, we gotta go way far back beyond. Now, most of us have probably heard of the ancient Greek poets, such as Hesiod, Sophocles, and Pindar. Sorry if I butchered those names. However, we're going to be diving into Homer's work right here. Specifically, we're going to be delving into Homer's most famous piece, I think. It's called Odyssey. Might not seem like it at first, but people who have actually transcribed the piece extensively found records and parts that have hinted at psychedelics being used at the time the piece was written. For example, in the 9th book titled The Lotus Eaters, and no, not that kind of lotus, the one that you associate with Asian cultures, it's completely different kind of lotus. You see, these records actually showed that people called lotus eaters. Now I know what you're thinking. What the heck are lotus eaters? Well, it's kind of self-explanatory, but I'll tell you. Lotus eaters, in this chapter, it described Odysseus and his men arriving in a land where people ate a fruit and a flower that was titled lotus. The substance induced a state of blissful apathy, and it caused the person who ate it to actually lose their desire to return to their home, as well as forget what they were there to do in the first place. It basically had a similar side effect to psychedelics. You can see right here that this dude kind of looks like he's not in the right mind. Now, lastly, I think this might actually surprise you, but there's an actual artifact that's actually centered around the opium that was extracted from poppies. It was discovered in around 1400 to 1100 BCE, and the Minoans dubbed the statue Poppy Goddess. Many years later, archaeologists discovered that there was an actual shrine entirely dedicated to the supposed goddess, as you can see right here. The Minoans believed that this deity embodied the elements of sleep and healing, and most archaeologists also believe that she embodied the use of the Minoan use of opiums. Other people believe that they weren't just associated with the Minoan civilization, but also had ties to a Cretan religion that was involved in the preparation of opium. That's all, folks. So, the script was written by me, and this was entirely made by me, this whole thing right here. I wanted to keep it minimalist, but also added a bit of a wacky side to it. Well, that is all for me, and to my instructors, I thank you for teaching me all there was to know in this class, and I am looking forward to see where my studies will take me. Take care.